mate. What do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Are you ready?
Let's get it.
It's time!
Welcome back to another Sunday afternoon episode of Software Explorations. We are doing Sunday Terraform. We are doing Terraform today, just like we've been doing for the past, who knows how many Sundays now, since last year, since maybe around August, September-ish, we started working on Terraform, and we have learned a lot. If you do not know who I am your host of the channel and of the show. I am Tech Coach Ralph, where we are, above all else, engineered to win. We have a lot of fun here. We learn a lot, but we love to win. So that's what we're going to do here today. We're going to continue working on troubleshooting our Elastic Container Service. We got everything working last week, but for some reason we're getting a 502 error. The week before that, we didn't get a 502 error. So I'm not sure if it's ECS that's being flaky with us, especially using Node, or if it is something else that's happening. I don't know. We're going to troubleshoot. Today's going to be dedicated to troubleshooting. If we get it to work, then I'll start looking into how we're going to start migrating the software using the Mongo Atlas database that we set up some months ago. But we shall see, right? We will go wherever it leads us today. So with that being said, I'm going to address in the chat real quick. I got my brother in the chat. We have Yakar already showing love, saying, let's go. What's going on, Yakar? Let's get to it. And we have Heist King in the chat. It says, let's see that pipeline. That's what I'm talking about. And with that being said, I'm also going to, in our first break, I am going to be merging a branch, because we are pretty much on the last day of the sprint that I'm working with the Tech Barbarians, and we have our Scrum Night tonight shortly after we get off this stream. And they pretty much got all their stories done. This sprint these are the stories we had this sprint. We had adding to the API the put and the patch command, so we can update the status of the quotes to active so they can actually show up on the front end. We had adding basic authentication. We got that done. And then we also had adding API documentation, which we started up last Thursday on Thursday's stream. And I added the put in the patch to the API documentation this morning so that they can finish testing that out. So we will take a look at merging the basic authentication. So we shall see. All right. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we are going to get to work. All right. But first and foremost, you know how we do. We have to take care of some housekeeping really, really quick. So with that being said, let's get into our housekeeping for today. So first and foremost, I just have to say thank you to all of the newest subscribers, like Heist King, like Recember. Thank you so much for joining the channel, for watching and tuning in, for subscribing.
I appreciate you.
And thank you to those who have been here for a very, very long time, like my brother Yakar, like Mitch, like everyone. I really, really appreciate you guys. So you guys make it. Yakar told me the other day, the content creates itself, because as we continue to progress, we just keep going down different type of rabbit holes, which is going to lead me into what are our icebreaker today about rabbit holes. You have to choose the right rabbit holes to go down, but we will get there. But I just appreciate you all, and salute to the tech barbarians who are putting in that work. We have our like I said, we have our Scrum night tonight, where we are going to do our sprint review, our sprint retrospective, and we're going to do our sprint planning for our next 2 weeks. This, talking about what we were talking about last night in the Backchasers Discord. It just keeps going. It's like we've started this in building the software back in September. We had our very first pilot Scrum night, and we are going at it strong. So we don't miss. Right? And Yakar and I are working on some things on the back end to try to optimize and bring some more people into the way that we handle our Kanban training and stuff like that. So we'll let you know as we get more details how we're going to hash that out. But stay tuned. All right. So next up, the live show schedule. I just want to run down the live shows and the pre-recorded shows real quick. So our newest show on the channel, Saturday mornings. We had a nice long show yesterday where we were going through the Men Lie, Women Lie, the Numbers Manipulate show. Yes, Numbers Manipulate. So that show is where we do our weekly numbers review, where we check out the economic data, we check out the housing information, we check out what else, like customer sentiment, and whatever the key numbers that are coming out for this week, these economic indicators, we review it on that show. And one thing I did yesterday, so if you didn't see the show yesterday, I would highly recommend you go and check it out, because what I did was I used ChatGPT and I said, hey, you know what, ChatGPT, these words like that are in this the jobless unemployment claims stuff, the weekly report, it is super confusing to me. Can you break it down to an 8th grade level? And then it broke it down to an 8th grade level. I'm like, okay, this makes a little bit more sense. How about a 5th grade level? And then it broke it down like, oh, okay, this makes a lot more sense now. So we are trying to break it down so it can be very easy to understand, because when these economists and stuff like that are writing it in these big words and fancy words, we're not economists. So it makes it harder to understand it better. So now I'm like, all right, let's make it easy to understand. And now when I'm reading it, I'm like, okay, I just plug in, like we used to do in elementary school, like we used to do in 5th grade. We plug in the definition into the big word that we don't understand. It's like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense. So, and now one thing so as Yakar said, the content creates itself. So now I was thinking, okay, you know what? Is there an API to pull some of this data? And then I can start plugging in, okay, here is the definition in layman's term. And then we're just going to pull the data and plug it in there. So now we can say, okay, so this means the people who are asking for help because they lost their job is X amount of number, like whatever that number is, insert the variable here, and you just read it that way. So it makes it very easy for us to understand. So that is something that I'm looking into, and we can probably build something together on that. All right. So that is the Saturday morning show, the Men Lie, Women Lie, Numbers Manipulate show. And we have Yakar always with us. We have Mitch always with us. And we have many other people who are bringing their insight because, hey, I'm learning this just like many of you are, but we have some people with way more knowledge on this economic data who give us a big hand in breaking it down. All right. Then we have our morning shows Mondays and Wednesdays. We have the Coffee and Kata show, where we are reviewing some news information to start, and then we get into actual development, where we've been working on our mobile app, but the mobile apps are in the store right now, but I need to get that privacy policy page done. So last Wednesday, we ran into a little bit of a what's the word, kerfuffle? Is that the word? But what happened was I didn't know something about React routers and ended up thinking that the privacy policy page would show, but it didn't. So then I found out how to do it. So we're going to do that tomorrow. And it's because tomorrow is Memorial Day, don't have to get to work. So I can actually be on a little bit longer, so we can actually finish up that React router, get that page showing so we can progress, get our app published in the app stores. So that is the goal for tomorrow's and for tomorrow and Wednesday's morning show. So you definitely want to tune in for that. Sunday afternoons, we are working on software explorations. We're working on Terraform, like we're about to do today. And then Tuesday nights, we have our Q&A show, where you can call in, you can ask questions in the chat. And I also find some questions to answer as well. We had a great show last Tuesday, and we had some great questions. So Definitely want to tune in. You can call in, like I said, and we can have a conversation. And then Thursday nights, we have our software explorations. The last week, we worked on the API documentation with Swagger based on the open API specifications. And this week, we're going to be continuing our API automation using Karate part 2, because we did that like 2 weeks ago, but we had to pivot real quick last week to do the API documentation with Swagger. So we are going to get back to Karate framework this coming Thursday. All right. So much going on the live shows. Something for everyone, whether you're in QA, whether you're in infrastructure, whether you are in mobile development, and this week is probably going to be more related to full stack development, because we're going to be working on React. So much to check out. Definitely looking forward to seeing you there. That is our live show for the week. That is a mouthful. All right. Now let's jump into our pre-recorded content, because wait, there is more. So Mondays, we have candid conversations. Last week, I spoke about what is the cost of hiring to companies and why companies are so reluctant to just give anybody a chance, right? Sometimes they'll take the risk, but it is a risky thing, and it costs a lot if you get the wrong person. Even if you get the right person, it still costs a lot. So we spoke about the cost of hiring. You definitely want to check that out so you can properly plan and maneuver the right way into the industry, right? And then this week, which kind of goes into, it kind of helps with that cost of hiring. It says, what are my top 5 strategies to get into tech? And it's going to be different than what most people tell you, right? I have five. You know, like when well, this is probably not a good answer, a good example. So I'm not going to use it, right? But my top 5 strategies to get into tech. I'm going to break it down to you, so you definitely want to check that out tomorrow at noon Eastern time. Wednesdays, we have software explorations. Last week, we broke down what a business analyst does and why they are so essential to the success of companies. This week, shout out to the Wealth Building Journey, because he's the one who introduced me to Zero Trust Architecture. We're going to be breaking down what Zero Trust Architecture is and how it's used, and compare it to other type of architectures. More of a cybersecurity related thing, but we do everything on this channel. So you definitely want to tune into Zero Trust Architecture and find out and learn with me, because I'm trying. It's coming out that I understood the concept of it, but I didn't know the name of it. So, never trust, always verify. It's not trust but verify, but it's never trust, always verify. So you definitely want to tune in for that. And then our last show of the week, we have the Bug Bite, where we review different articles around the industry. Some of them are maybe cybersecurity related breaches. Some of them are bugs, how they affected a company. Some of them are thoughts that people might have. So last week we talked about a European CEO, what he said about Americans, about American work ethic. He said that we have more ambition than the Europeans. I didn't say it. He did. I just reviewed the article, so check out my thoughts on that. And then this week, we're going to be checking out an article about Roku forcing 2-factor authentication after they suffered a breach. It was more like credential stuffing. We've spoken about that in the past, but we're going to be reviewing Roku forcing 2-factor authentication now. All right. So that is our pre-recorded content. And then we also have shorts that drop during the week, as well as our clips from the Q&A show. We just do so much happening out there. So you definitely want to check that out. Alrighty then. So let's check the chat real quick, because it is starting to pop. So let's see what we got going on in the chat. We have your car, as always. Really appreciate you. We put on a show last night, and I'm working on cutting it up. It was a private show, but we put on a show, and I'm working on trimming some of the things out so we can get rid of the fluff, and then we'll just share that YouTube link. And we have who do you have here? We have Mitch says took off the blazer. He took off the blazer. He loosened up the tie. Superman is alive. Hey, the show doesn't start until Mitch gets here. And now that Mitch is here, we are going to take off. All right. And Mitch also asked a car, how do you like Tableau? Just wondering. I'm curious too. I don't even know if I've ever seen the Tableau dashboard. I hear people in data talk about it all the time, but I am yet to investigate it. Maybe it'll be a stream where we investigate Tableau, see how it works, how can we connect to it, things like that. And Mitch says, knock, knock. Who's there? Mitch is here.
Bruh.
Hey, you know what it is. All right, and Mitch says, never trust, always verify. Yes, we are going to get into it. We're going to get into it on Wednesday, talking about that architecture. And from what I'm reading so far, I think it is a very, very good concept. It might take a little bit more back and forth in work. However, I would rather be safe than not. And then now you have a breach, and it's going to cost you a lot more to patch up that breach than than the other way. And I'm going to break it down at the end of that video. A very easy way to understand the zero trust architecture from my understanding. So we will see. We shall see. And it says, I like Batman better though. Well, some people do, some people don't. I do, Superman is a little bit too positive for me. I'm going to be honest. Superman's a little bit too positive for me. I'm kind of with you, Mitch. I kind of like Batman better too. I'm just saying, hate to agree with Mitch, but I kind of have to. And your car says, Tableau is awesome. I have to give it a try. I have to give it a try. And yes, you're right. I do have to get into Tableau. And it says you can definitely do interesting dashboards. I need to find a way, because the thing is, if I set up Tableau, I need to be able to feed data into it. So I have to, you know what? Maybe we'll do a software exploration or a concept and overview about where we break down Tableau, and then we can find out how we can actually implement it on a live stream and go from there. So that's probably going to be coming in the next few weeks, maybe. So I just have to break it down, see how I can use it, and then we will go from there. But yeah, so very, very cool. All right. Let's get to it. So before we get into the actual show, I have a topic to discuss. Real quick. So here it is. We have an icebreaker, right? So my icebreaker for today, make sure I have the right one up. Let's see. Yes, it's there. So icebreaker for today, we're going to be talking about focus on the mission. What do I mean by focus on the mission? So, and I'm sure you guys have seen this too. All right. I'm sure you guys have seen this too. So so my car, right? It was getting fixed, and I went to pick it up yesterday, and I started listening to a podcast interview. And as my wife and I are driving down, she's like, did you hear the thing about 1 times 1? I'm like, no, what are you talking about? And then she's like, she gives a little bit more detail. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then listen to that podcast, and I'm like, what is this guy talking about? And so then I looked up what she was talking about, the 1 time 1, and I was like, you know what? I need to stop listening to this nonsense. I need to focus on the mission. It's so easy for us to go down these rabbit holes by people just because they get a platform to talk about whatever wild stuff that's floating through their mind, and they're like, oh, okay, and then you have the people who are like, what's the enablers, right? So back in the days, we used to have, like, when people would say wild outlandish stuff, we're like, all right, you deserve to be somewhere, like in some type of home institution. But now we just have people saying wild random stuff running the streets, and then people are enabling them and say, oh, you might be right about this, oh, you might be right about that. And I'm like, all right, time to take a step back, because one thing, although the numbers can be manipulated, the numbers are still the numbers. You know what I mean? So I'm like, people. My favorite subject has always been math, because while humans can manipulate numbers, the numbers are still the numbers. We can look back in history to time frames. You can count the universe and stuff like that. Now, some people might disagree on what the calculations are, but it is what it is at the end of the day. You're arguing different factual data, and it's either going to be right or wrong. And that's the stuff I like to focus on. I don't care about my feelings and my emotions, stuff like. Of course, everyone has emotions and feelings, but the thing is, you cannot focus on that. And when people start getting into these conversations about saying words that they don't even know what they mean, they can't even pronounce and stuff like that. See, I have to like, whenever the wealth building journey joins, I'm like, hey, I need you to be on your best behavior. Don't try to trip me up with these fancy words. And then we try to, like, they just start rambling and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, let's regroup. Let's cut this off. If we are not very mission minded, if we're not goal oriented, we're going to go down all these stupid rabbit holes, and we're not going to get anything accomplished. I want to get things accomplished. I want to work so that I can grow, and then with my work ethic, pass it down to other people. Have that drive. So that's my thoughts about it. I don't know. Am I off? Am I off? Can somebody just change mathematical formulas and equations because they feel like it? It's all a feeling at the end of the day. If that's the case, then why do we even have to? Why do we even? I bet this. I bet this. This is how you figure everything else out, right? Apply the same mathematical formula that they're applying to when it's time for them to get paid. When it's time for them to get paid. And that you figure everything else out that way. When it's time for you to get paid, can I use your same equation that you're using to share all this nonsense? See, because when it comes down to the money, right? When it comes down to the money, then all the math and that math better be like everyone's on the same page for math. But when it comes to these random questions and stuff like that, how about the universe this and something told me that, it's like, well, who told you this and this, and I'm like, well, can I pay you the same way? The same logic that you're using, can I pay you the same way? They're like, they're gonna be like, they're gonna say this: better have my money. Better have my money. Right? But anyways, that's my icebreaker for today. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. But I'm like, man, let's focus on the mission. We have goals. Let's not go down all these rabbit holes and stuff like that. I'd rather go down tech rabbit holes, trying to figure these different things out, trying out new things that it's going to better enhance our future, and we can use that to build out cool technology. Like I was saying, we started looking into numbers, and now I'm like, hey, maybe we can build something where we can take, integrate an API, and we can integrate breaking down the words in a way that we can easily understand for our Urban Dictionary for economic data, and go from there. But let's not go into like all these crazy rabbit holes where people are just because you can read some lines in a script and act emotional and force a tear to come down your eye. Now we have to listen to all the other stuff that you have to say. Give me a break here. Then you have people saying, oh my God, this person's a genius. Give me a break here. Give me a break. Anyways, that is, maybe you totally disagree. I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you agree. I don't know. But I'm like, hey, I'm gonna focus on the mission. All right. I'm gonna focus on the mission. All right. So that being said, let's get that off, and let's check the chat before we get to work. So Mitch says you can do interesting dashboards, and says you can do a public Tableau. Maybe we can do that. I just don't know what goes into Tableau yet. So I know it's data. I'm just not sure what. And Mitch, here you go. Now, how can we even trust the data? Not only do numbers manipulate, but we can't even rely on math anymore because, somebody else created math and we can't rely on math, all this nonsense. I don't know, whatever. All right. And Heising says, just the mention of Terrace Howard makes me smile. It's a level of absurdity that makes for a good coffee break before getting back to work. Oh my goodness. It says, they try to put words together to try to match. And it says, I'll give you a movie script now. Act out a script. I would rather not, Mitch. anyways, let's get to our first block of work. So what I did was I did some research after the show last week, and I was looking into why we're getting this error, and we're going to do some troubleshooting. Let me pull it up. I added it to the top of the, let's start our first 20-minute timer.
It's time to do.
All right, let's see. We are added to the, let me see, which file did I put in? Docker. And, okay, there we go. So, I put it here. So it was a to-do for next week troubleshooting the application load balancer. I think it was this one. Or did I put in the ECS? Let me see. It was one of these. Not that one. I think it's in this one. Yeah, right. Let's use this one. Let's go here. And we are gonna go here. All right, let's go to our browser. Troubleshoot your application load balancers. So let's see, a registered target is not in service. Client cannot connect to the internet facing load balancer. Request sent to a custom domain. So you know what? I'm just gonna start. I'm just gonna do the Terraform apply, and we'll see what's, because 2 weeks ago it came up. Last week it did not come up. Everything was working, but it's giving us the 502 error. So we are just gonna start it up, because I think what happens is sometimes when it runs into an error, it just keeps trying to start up over and over and over again, but it doesn't. And I don't know, it's just weird. So Terraform apply, or go into the folder first. All right, so I kicked it off, and so let's take a look at reading this real quick to see what could be our possible problem. So it's saying that the load balancer generates an HTTP error. So this is not the problem. That's not the problem. Let's check this one. And let's go. So 502 bad gateway. That's what we're getting. So possible causes for the 502 bad gateway: the load balancer received a TCP RST from the target when attempting to establish a connection. The load balancer received an unexpected response from the target, such as ICMP destination unreachable. That's possible. When attempting to establish a connection, check whether traffic is allowed from the load balancer subnet to the target on the target port. So that might be a problem. Let's see. It says the target closed the connection with the TCP RST or a TCP FIN while the load balancer had an outstanding request to the target. So, by the way, as I'm reading this, right, cloud engineering, cloud security engineer, amazing career paths, but this is the stuff that you're gonna have to deal with. So not only here on these Sundays that we get the opportunity to do infrastructure as code, as more DevOps related things like that. However, like we're also doing some cloud engineering, because even if you don't do infrastructure as code, Terraform and stuff like that, being able to configure, understanding about subnets, like that's part of the cloud engineering. So for instance, AWS is so massive. Like you can do the identity and access management in AWS. You can do setting up the Elastic Beanstalk, Docker, Kubernetes, all this type of stuff. And that's just one platform, AWS. Imagine Microsoft Azure. Imagine Google Cloud Platform. So a lot of times people are going to say, oh, I want to be a cloud engineer, and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I commend that. But how are you going to take in all that data? What type of projects are you going to do? How are you going to like, should just, because people say, oh, which one should I learn? AWS, Google Cloud Platform, or Microsoft Azure? And for me, I'm like, well, it depends, but I would say experiment with all three. Try out all three, have a basic understanding how, how they work, and then you can drill into one of them to be more focused. But then once you have that idea, because a lot of them they're going to do the same thing, and so now you can be platform agnostic. You might be better in AWS, but you should still be able to navigate yourself through Microsoft Azure, through Google Cloud Platform, because especially if you're going into cloud engineering, because there's gonna be companies hiring for AWS, there's gonna be companies hiring for Microsoft Azure, there's gonna be companies hiring for Google Cloud Platform based on what they do, and you always want to at least be able to be in the race. You might not end up getting the position, but be in the race. Be in the race. So that's my thoughts behind it, right? So let's keep reading. So the target response header exceeded 32K for the entire response header. The deregistration delay period for a request being handled by a target was deregistered. Increased the delay period. Target. I don't know. Not really. It's different things to try out. I mean, this one might be close to the issue, but we'll see when this starts up. Because all right, so it started up. So let's go and do. Let's see if it's because started up. Let's see what happens. ECS dev. See 503 now. I thought it was a 502. So 503. The target groups for the load balancer have no registered targets. Well, that's a simple explanation. So we actually have a 503. So the target groups for the load balancer have no registered targets. But that's so weird because like 2 weeks ago, it signed up. Interesting. So now I guess we'll go troubleshoot the target groups. So the target group for the load balancer have no registered targets. So let's go look at that then. So everything is up and running. Let's go to EC2. And let's take a look at our load balancers. We have our PPQ load balancer, availability zone, so target groups. And it said the target group for the load balancer has no registered targets. So target group, registered targets, unhealthy. So no registered target here. But why? So now if we go to our, okay, so now let's go to Elastic Container Service. And container instances, one pending. See, so the problem is happening somewhere in here, getting the container started up. But it's hard to see why. Maybe something is trying to start up. Let's see. 2 running. Let's look at tasks. Let's see over here. So this is the IP, the public IP. I go back over here. So now it's a 5. Okay, so it was a 503. Now it's a 502. So if we look at over here, so how do I troubleshoot? Let's see, take a look at this. I encounter a 502 with my application load balancer. There are several possibilities. Let's see, find the source of the HTTP. If the data points under the HTTP ELB 502 metric, then your load balancer is the source of the 502. I don't think it's the load balance. Well, I mean, it might. Target status code. Filter the access logs. The load balancer received a TCP RST from the target when attempting to establish a connection. Verify. Let's see. So, let me see on I'm just gonna do a Google search. ALB ECS. How to solve. I don't think that's what the one I'm looking for. I had two listeners set up on the ELB, one for 80 and one for 443, which is correct. The listener for 80 was correctly was set up correctly to forward to the backend Nginx port over 80, but the 443 listener was incorrectly configured to send to port 80 on the backend over HTTPS. I updated the 443 listener to use the same rule as 80, and it worked. That might be it. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. So our HTTPS 443, and they said it was the 443 was incorrectly configured to port 80. The listener. All right, we're looking for the listener then. Let's see. Load balancers. This one. Let's go to this. Forward to part. I mean, that should do it right there. Got the certificate. Let's see here. Four, 4, 3. So target deregistered training and deregistration in progress. Unhealthy for this one. And if we look at over here, the task failed ELB health check. That's why I keep. So it's something with, if I refresh this, still have a 502. I think it's at the ECS level that we have the problem, but I can't really see. Let's see. Logs. There's no logs. Let's see. The failed ELB health check in target group task is stopped. So the task is stopping because the task is stopping because the ELB is filling in the health check. So it's like kind of like we have a chicken or egg situation happening over here. All right, let's try something. Let me try something. If we were to take this, let's see, HTTPS. Let me see, ALB target group health check. Let's see. Health checks, right? You can set very. What would you do for all right, the path may be required. Destination for the health check request required HTTPS. For HTTP and HTTP health check, the default is slash. Okay. So all right, so I don't need to put that then. Let's see. Let's see. And Heising asks, did the app start up? So here's what I see happening. If we go over here, it'll tell you that we have a task running. But then I think it shuts down because it's not passing the health check. But it's like there's no health check there. So if we, let me see, the message that we were seeing before, see, like this says it's running, but I can't see the inside of it. So it's hard to say actually what's going on. And I don't think we have any logs inside the container. I don't see, and I don't have any logs here. I'd have to probably set up some type of logging here. Let's see. See, it says like two. It says that they were running, but let me see tasks. So this one is pending. This one is actually running, but then this one's gonna get shut down because of that error that we saw earlier. Let's see. Click on the service. Target group name. That's correct. Listener port. That's correct. Let's see. See, and it says the target is unhealthy. So the task is running, but the target itself is unhealthy. And because the target is unhealthy, it's going to shut it down. So let me add this health check to the let me add the health check to the target group. So I just uncommented this out, and let's just do a. We might have to end up killing it and then bring it back up. That went through. All right, so let me go back over here. I'm pretty sure it's still going to give me a 502 error. So if we go here and we refresh this page, target group, refresh that page. So the total target is total targets 2. One of them is unhealthy, and it's because the health check failed. But if we were to get the health check not to fail, maybe it's failing because nothing was there. I don't know. I don't know why it's failing. So protocol. Oh, protocol version is. Let me see. Health check. So now we have a health check. Let me check what, because the other one doesn't have a health check. Let me go ahead and check what that one was. If it put anything there. Well, I didn't set up a health check for this, but it put one there anyways. Path slash. let's see. So under the, so 443 is here. Let's check out this one.
Lunch break. Lunch break.
Wait, let's check out this one. This didn't even start anything up actually. Which, if that's the case, we do even need this one at the end of the day. Because if I was to go to the load balancer address, we get a 503 here because there's no. So this one is giving us a 503 because it doesn't have anything registered on it, right? But the other one, let me see something. If we do this, okay. We probably don't even need this HTTP one because nothing's being registered on it. But this one is still, where was that? All right, so I'm gonna just do a destroy. Yeah, let's try that. I'm gonna do destroy, bring it back up, and see if anything changes with that. I'm gonna go over here, and then we're gonna go to break. So we're gonna bring it all down, and then bring it back up, see what happens. All right, so that's destroying. Let's go to break while that's happening. But yeah, we're gonna see what's going on because as high-speed as like did the app start up. So 2 weeks ago, just doing a Docker Compose up, or not Docker Compose up, a Terraform apply, it did start up, and we're able to see it. And then last week when we started it up, but we had some configuration changes to the load balancer and stuff like that, it didn't start up. You know, we're just trying to troubleshoot that to see why and get that working consistently, and go from there. So great question. Thank you. And let's go to the chat real quick. We have Mitch said, if that's what you want to do, talking about like the cloud engineering and stuff like that, I would say having an understanding of all three, which is AWS, Google Cloud Platform, and Microsoft Azure. It will look better for jobs, two more skills, you know? And that's the thing for me. I never look to be like, let's say it's about software testing, right? I'm going to be very well versed in that, but I'm never going to be like all in on one particular software or platform if I want to be dynamic, because I always think like be dynamic. So then I'm going to be looking at, all right, let me learn a little bit about Google Cloud Platform. Let me learn a little bit about Microsoft Azure, which I have not done yet. But if I was a cloud engineer, I definitely would, to be able to pivot very easily as necessary. And then you know, maybe I'll do most of my work in AWS, or maybe I'll do one project in AWS or one application in AWS and then do another one in Microsoft Azure. Who knows? But I'm just saying, like, just get in front of you all the different technologies so that you can at least have seen it and know how to navigate around it, even if you're not the most well versed in it. Be able to navigate. So that's what I would do in agreement with what Mitch is saying. And your car says, I agree. From the premise of someone in the job market wanting a good salary starting off. Yeah, you know, it's people. A lot of people hate this question, right? A lot of people hate this question, but, and you know, maybe it's only applicable to relationships. Why you hate this question? However, the companies ask you as well. But when you go in, like when you are putting in, when you're writing out your resume, you write your resume, you put in the application, you go into interview. If we break it down, the question that they're asking you, which you have to answer and prove and show why, is What do you bring to the table? To put it in a nicer way, what value are you seeking to bring to our company? That's the question at the end of the day. What value? What is it that you know? How are you going to add value into the company? So that is the that's the thing. Like it's so if you bring to the table AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform, Terraform, you don't have to be the greatest at it, but it shows that you are capable of learning it, maneuvering to it, all that stuff. Because what if you are an expert in AWS and they hire you for AWS and they say, actually, based on A, B, and C, we want to migrate over to Microsoft Azure. Do you say, oh well, oops, I can't do it. I can't do it because I am an AWS fanboy or girl, and I refuse to change over to any other platform. Or are you going to say, well, I have some experience with Microsoft Azure, I have some experience with Google Cloud Platform. Let me take a course real quick. Let me ramp up to it, and let me be the person who is leading the migration. Just saying. I am just saying. All right. So let's keep going. Mitch says he says this is your current particular. I am working on a scatter plot in Tableau. I am terrified right now. Mitch just said the unspeakable word, a scatter plot. Uh-oh. And it's so tough that your car is like, why? A purple crying face. Why? Don't do it, Mitch. Mitch, we have to talk Mitch off the ledge. Mitch, don't do it. Come back. Come back, Mitch. Come back. We might have lost Mitch. My goodness. Terrible. But if Mitch has his Superman cape on, he will succeed. We know it. All right. So, Heisking said, start from the top until you start to see the error. That's what I'm doing. I think it's like it's kind of like a race condition, you know. So that's why I'm shutting everything down, because I know if I was to set it up manually like we did last time, it would come up, but it's gonna take forever to set it up manually, and we already have it in Terraform. I'm gonna try to bring it back up with the health check to see if the health check. I don't think so, because it added the health check by default, you know. So when we get back, I'll take a look at that and see what's going on. It's still destroying right now, so it takes like 5 minutes to do a Terraform destroy. So who knows? And it says, so Heising said most jobs are only on one of the three. Generally the CSA for each are all the same with different names. Exactly. So it would be easy to transition and stuff like that to one platform or the other. You just have to get the names and the syntax and stuff like that. And you know, but they keep adding new features for each of them. So it's just about keeping up. But that's why I say you don't need to be an expert in any one of them, but you do need to know how to, because like I'm not an expert in AWS at all, but I was able to follow guides and walkthroughs in order to set up the Elastic Beanstalk in Terraform, to set it up manually, to set up the ECS cluster. It's been many Sundays, but we get it done. All right. So, all right, I'm gonna pause right here, and I'm gonna just bring up this topic for our break real quick. I'm gonna throw up 5 minutes timer as well. And what we're gonna talk about real quick is, so I had met with this person like back at the beginning of the year. So at the beginning of the year, I spoke to this person about how they were looking to implement AI into different software developer type things and QA type things. So I just met to listen and say, oh, you know what? I would like to, you know, learn more about it. Maybe I can do a stream about it. But so I saw that they actually, something that they were working on, they just put it into part of it into open source, right? It's called Encoder Run. I took a brief read through of it. didn't really make much sense to me, but I wanted to read it with you guys together. So I'm going to read the Substack, and then we can take a look at, and then after on our second break, actually, no, scratch that. Let's go back. That's going to be our second break. We are going to do on our first break. Let's do this like that. Almost forgot. We are going to be merging our branch, right? So let's go like that. Oh my goodness. Jeez. All right, cool. Merging GitHub branch, right? So let's go and merge this GitHub branch because, like I said, I have a sprint review Scrum night at the end, like maybe an hour after we get off the show. So we're gonna go into here. So this is the GitHub repo. It is a private repo where we're going to be merging this branch just so you guys can see how the merging the pull request. So this is a pull request that I had open. I said I added basic API authentication. You need the username and password, which I will provide to them in our Slack group. And I'm like, all right, so did all the work. These are the files that were changed. I did the pull request against the develop branch. All this stuff, right? So all the work that was done, and it was tested. It was approved. We got a check mark over here. And so now I also have branch protection rules. I have I integrated a GitHub action so that it will run the API test upon pushing into a pull request that is looking to merge into the develop branch or the master branch. So if we take a look at the details real quick, it did the NPM test. Everything passes. And then the testing was done, and I got an approval from one of the QA engineers. And now I'm just going to squash and merge this branch into develop. And now that the pull request was successfully merged, we're going to delete that branch. And now inside of our develop branch, we would have the latest code for the application. And now if we go to the pull request that's still open. So as you can see on this one, this is the pull request for the develop branch that we are not merging into develop yet. But it's going to be running the test on this branch because I just merged into it. And now, but merging is blocked because we don't have an approval on this branch. And it's not ready to merge either. We'll be working on that very, very soon because we have to set up our production MongoDB, right? However, if we go back to pull requests over here, and I go to this one for the create Swagger API documentation that we started last week Thursday. So API documentation implemented with Swagger UI using open API specs, added the endpoints for the post to create, get, put patch, get for the random author. And this is like after you build a Docker container, it's going to go to this right here. So, and it got approved as well. So what we're going to do first is there are conflicts, not conflicts. Oh, that sucks. Let's see if we can fix these conflicts with the app. Oh my God. App.js has conflicts. So I guess I will have to fix that after the stream, but we were ready to merge, and now it's going to have to get one more approval. What am I doing to my tech barbarians? I'm making their life miserable, but let's see what this was in here. It was.
Get a move on, back to work, chop, chop, let's go. Come on, get a move on. Back to work, back to work, back to work.
I think it could have resolved this on its own. Like this is what we're fighting over here. Empty spot versus that. Let's just fix this right here. There we go. So we have used this right here, and that should fix that merge conflict. Let's go ahead and mark as resolved, commit merge. Hopefully we don't need another approval for that. And we do. Because we fixed the merge conflict, We need to have one more approval. That's annoying. That is annoying. But I just took you through pretty much a typical workflow for Git branching in software development. Right now it's running our test. They should all pass. And then I'm just gonna ask for their approval again real quick. And once they approve it, then we can go and merge that, and we will have successfully completed our sprint for the past 2 weeks. So just wanted to share a little bit with you about the type of stuff that we do in the Tech Barbarians coaching group, where they are putting in the work. And because of the experience that they're gaining through Docker, through GitHub, through testing, like using the IDE, whether they're using PyCharm for automation, or they're using VS Code, whatever the case may be, building tons and tons of tangible, useful experience, they are going to crush it in the market. All right. So let me get that off the screen. And let's finish up with the chat, right? Let's finish up with the chat. Let's see. Mitch says, I know people that didn't even know how to use Tableau. They got the interview 3, then learned it overnight for the interview. Oh, interesting. Well, did they get the job, Mitch? Did they get the job? Because, it looks like it's pretty simple to, I don't know. All right. So, yeah, let's get to it. All right. And your car says a round of applause. And you know what? I'm going to put a message in the group real quick so that they can know that the approval is needed. And while we're here, they can approve it, and then we can go ahead and merge it in and finish our sprint. And then I can even show you closing out the stories. So let me just tag them real quick. And that's the thing. I structure it exactly the way that, I work at work. I structure it the same way with the same protocol, so that, because the way that we work at work is very, very efficient. So not only can they get the necessary experience in the tech industry, but they can also seek some good practices. So once they land wherever they land, they can be influential to their team and provide valuable insight, and not be afraid to make recommendations, things like that. So that is why I structure it that way. And so that's that, right? So guess what? See, and this is why they're on point. If we look over here real quick, already approved. Look at that. Let me see who did the approval. Who did it? Boom, right there. Already approved. On point. All right. But I'm not going to merge it right now. We are going to get back to work. And cool. Let's put up another 20-minute on the clock.
Let's go!
All right. So let's go over to this screen. And all right, so everything is shut down except for, it's not going to delete the repository because we need it, and it knows not to delete it if there is something in there. So I am tempted to hold on one second. HTTPS. I am tempted to just get rid of this one altogether. Let's get rid of that. And is there anything that's using? Let me see if there's anything that's using I don't see it. Let me see anything that's using. So, all right, that's the Terraform backup. Depends on. So the ECS plan depends on this. It depends on this being up or created. Let me see if there's anything that is using HTTP. ALB target group. So that's this. That's this. Resource. That's the one that we commented out, maybe. Okay, so did I just comment out? Redirect all traffic from the ALB to the target group. So let's comment out this one as well. Let's not even create this resource. Let's see what's going on, Ferris. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Because we don't even need port 80. If we go straight to port 443, always using HTTPS because it's forcing it anyways. Okay. Well, let's give it a try. I just see. I don't want to yet because I don't know. Whatever. Let's give it a try. We have time. So, Terraform apply. Terraform apply. It's a. I mean, at the end of the day, it takes trial and error to see why something isn't working, and then you find out exactly why, and then you can make a note of it, and then know for next time. Know for next time. Because, like I said, the other day we saw it come up, and then like a week later, it doesn't want to come up, but we did make some configuration changes, so that is highly possible as well. That we foobarred somewhere. It's possible. It is possible. Let's see. So right now it's creating. And let's go look at AWS while it's doing that. So right now it's going through the gateways. Let's go look at. Let's look at over here. Clusters. So it created the cluster. See, but why is it trying to start up the cluster? Let me see. If we go over here, is a target group? Because if it depends on the target group, I'd expect the target group to be created already, right? Let me see. I thought we shut everything down. All right, so there goes the new one. This goes the new one. And we go over here. Do you have a failed deploy? ECS deployment circuit breaker task failed to start. Why did the task fail to start? This just got created a second ago. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Let's see. I'm not getting any. All right, here we go. So, April, wait, 1613. What's 1613? Wait, April 21st. What in the world? This must be the old one then. Ah, this is the new one. Okay, so we're good. That was the old one. All right, so this is the new one. Confused me for a second there. So over here, right now it's creating the Route 53. We go to Route 53. But you gotta love automation though, because if we were doing this manually, this would literally take us like, and imagine if it didn't work, you have to do it over again, doing it manually. Ooh, that would take us like a whole day's worth of work. So right now it's creating the Route 53 record. So here it's going to pop in the ECS. All right, so here, let's see. Oh, that's the wrong one. We are looking at this one. So there goes the one that we just created. Now, if we go to clusters, let's see what's going on. The task is one task pending. Let me see. One active, one running. Go to the service. One running. We have stuff showing. Now, if we go to the target group, let's go over here. Here. No registered target. See, okay, so no registered targets. Why do we have no registered targets? Which is what we saw earlier at first. Load balancer, TBQ load balancer. What is this rule? Forward to target, okay. But we still see unhealthy. Now we have something that is unhealthy. If we go back to our ECS, I can close this one out. So we are in the service task. So events, Amazon ECS replaced one task due to an unhealthy status. All right, let's look up why is okay, so let's see. If no grace period is configured, then the service scheduler immediately replaces any target marked as unhealthy. Change the grace period to allow more time for ECS tasks to complete their processes and pass the health check. To change the grace period, use the earlier version of ECS console. To change the earlier version of the console, toggle the new ECS experience. Let's see. And that's configured in where? So it's in the ECS that we configured the grace period. Select your service name, update. All right, let's see. If we go to Update service. Do we have a grace period in here? Health check grace period. What is a good amount of health check grace period? On the configure network, change the health to an appropriate time period for your service. The maximum is this many seconds. To prevent delayed replacement of legitimately unhealthy ACS, carefully estimate the required. I don't know. Let's put like 5 minutes, I guess. I don't know. It'd be like 300 seconds. Let's update that. Let's go to, and then there's and then we'll have to update it inside of the Terraform code as well. But if we refresh this, now that's the old site. But let's go to ECS dev dot. We're getting the 502 bad gateway. All right, we're not getting the 503. So let's see. The targets are still unhealthy though. So now if I go to this target over here and I say, all right, let's try to do this manually, right? Let's try to register the target manually. This is this one. Enter IPv4 format and VPC format. Target. Let's see. Review IP targets to include in your group. That register targets. All right, let's see if we register a target now. Anything shows up. Where are the targets? Listener. Target group. VPC main. Let's take a look at the ECS plan over here. Security group, target, load balancer, target group, app port is 3000. Depends on let's do a quick search, right? What should what is this called? What should AWS ECS service depend on? Let's see. Depends on app service. All right. So let's see what's going on over here again. So refresh. We have something's running as of 6 minutes ago. And the container always says that it's running. So it feels like the container is actually up and running. Okay, maybe we have to define a container health check at some point. Let me see. So this is deregister. This is running. Now, if we go over here, let's see. Hmm. It shows that it's running. I don't know. This is annoying. Let's see. So just let's see. Let's look for ECS ALB target unhealthy task running. AWS ECS task failed ELB health checks and target group. I'm using all right. As it is Fargate cluster, I'm not getting how to log into a container and execute some health check queries to further debug. Can someone please help me? All right, cool. This is resolved. It was the issue with the following point. Docker container port mapping with host port were incorrect. ALB health check interval was very short. Due to that, ALB was immediately giving up, not waiting for the Docker container to be up and running properly. Let's see. All right, so maybe we can up the ALB health check, because if it gets something back at the slash, then that should do it. So let's go over to here and ALB health check. What is it set to? ALB health check is set to timeout 3. All right, let's take a quick look at what this health check information is. All right, so ALB health check. Let's see. The timeout. The port the load balancer uses when performing the health check on the target. The port. Valid values are either traffic port to use the same port as the target group, or the valid port number between 1 and... I don't have a port in there. Protocol that load balancer uses when performing health checks on the target must be 1 TCP HTTP. Cannot be specified when target type is a lambda. Timeout. Amount of time in seconds during which... So I have a timeout for 3 seconds.
Lunch break! Lunch break!
I have a timeout for 3 seconds. That doesn't sound good. Let's do 120. For target groups with a protocol of HTTP, the default is 6 seconds. For target with the protocol of TCP is 10 seconds. Unhealthy threshold, the amount of time. I'm going to change that to 10. Let's add an unhealthy threshold in here. And healthy threshold. Healthy threshold is... I don't see it here, but... Oh, number of consecutive health checks success required before considering a target healthy. Whether health check is enabled, default is set to true. Matcher. Now I'm wondering, this part right here, when used with an application load balancer, no, that one. Where's the one for port? The one for port says the load balancer uses when performing health check on the target. The target should be 3,000, shouldn't it be? My mic's still working. Let me see. It's still working. Yeah. I'm wondering if the port should be 3,000. Protocol the load balancer uses when performing health check on targets. So let's see. Health check do on I don't know. The target type is ALB. The supported health check is HTTP HTTPS. The port the load balancer used when performing the health check on targets. Let's see what this looks like. That's not what I'm looking for. ECS, Fargate, and ALB. Oh, let me check this one. Failed health check with timeout, Node.js app. All right. So let's see. Any answers on this? Oh, that's not a useful answer. Come on, AWS, be better. Be better. Anyways, let me apply that latest change to. I'm gonna change the timeout from 3 to 120. I think that was the max. And let's do that real quick. Let's see, Terraform apply. We might have to start it over. I don't know. But we'll go to break while that's doing that. Cool. All right. So let's go to break real quick. Oh, something failed. All right. Let's take a look at what failed. The health check interval must be greater than the timeout. The health check interval. Oh, let's do intervals of 300. I don't know. Let me see if there's a max for the interval. Hey, Mitch, do you see how we are manipulating the numbers here? Let's see. All right, we'll do 300. All right, cool. Let's do a Terraform apply. And we're gonna say yes. All right, let's leave that at that. Okay, so Heist King asks, can we not check the logs of Docker container to see if it came up individually? That's what I would want to do, but the problem is how, which I have to maybe we can do that. I'm just wondering how to log into that Docker container to see what activity is going on in there. So that's the only caveat, but we can definitely check that out. Let me put that me see. I'm gonna do a quick Google search about that, and we'll take a look. Log into Fargate ECS container. All right, I have the Google search there. We'll see if we can find it. But yeah, we will definitely look into that. But great suggestion. That's what I've always wanted to do, but I'm just not sure if we can. But we'll find out. All right, let's see what other things we have in the chat. We got Ferris in the building. What's going on, Ferris? And this is, by the way, for your background, why everyone walking in the streets casually with fire. Background. Oh, you're talking about that background. That background. Because we are used to the craziness and the pandemonium, and we will get it in anyways, right? Because we don't miss. So we are always at war with ourselves to be better and to grow. So that's why I always have a war-minded theme, because we are here for ultimate victory. All right, so let's pivot to this, right? I wanted to take a read of this encoder run, and this might be something of interest to you, Ferris. I don't know. It's talking about Kubernetes and stuff like that. So we shall see. So it says, let's see. So Ferris asks as well, to check the logs, isn't it $ Docker logs -- details? Something like that. But the problem is, we're not doing it locally, and we're not doing it through a terminal on an EC2 instance. It is set up through AWS Fargate and through Terraform. So we have to find out, like, where can we actually see those logs. So that's what we're gonna look when we get back from break. All right. So I'm gonna throw up a 5-minute timer up on here, and we are gonna go and take a quick look at this encoder run documentation, written by Henry Lee. All right, so let's take a quick look. So a strategic use of embedding for source code. All right, so and they just wrote this a few days ago, and it says, as artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning (ML) continue to evolve, practitioners are facing a daunting task of optimizing every. Let me zoom in on this. Oh, oops, wrong thing over here. All right, there you go. A daunting task of optimizing every step of the problem-solving process. With the influx of tools like large language models, LLMs, and automated systems, the temptation to adopt a plug-and-chug approach is high. Initially, plug-and-chug may give a working solution, but over time, this solution lacks adaptability to improve, as generic solutions may not account for problems specific to the business context. How do we balance the quickness to finding a solution with the need for customized, reliable, and accurate solutions? So, in this blog, we cover the challenges in optimizing AI technology pipelines and how Encoder, which is the name of their, the application, or the open, I don't know, maybe program application, whatever you want to call it, can streamline one of the most critical phases, the embedding process. This step is pivotal in selecting the right approaches to solve specific customized problems. In addition, writing blocks of code to test multiple embedding strategies for every business use case is hard to scale, even for a highly efficient AI ML team. So having a dedicated software to manage this step is crucial for AI customization success. Being able to run embedding strategies efficiently, and Yakar, if this makes any sense to you, please let me know, because I'm still trying to wrap my head around what exactly they're talking about. You too, Mitch, if this makes sense to you, because they're talking about AI, machine learning, all that type of stuff, which you guys are heavy into. So help me understand, and then we can see what we can build around this open source. They just recently made this open source, right? So let me get some water first. So being able to run embedding strategies efficiently, we also start to see how there are interesting features to unveil in the embedded data. If we do not intentionally explore different embedding models and visualize the results, we can never be sure we have understood the data and that the information we're extracting is usable for downstream automation. In a fast-paced environment, especially with the excitement of AI adoption, everywhere, practitioners often find it challenging to thoroughly investigate embedding models. This step, while being one of the initial phases in the sequence of developing an AI product, often receives less visibility, yet it's crucial for setting the stage for success. Encoder is designed to support practitioners in mitigating these challenges and be versatile to be a versatile tool in their quest to build better AI products, which I think that is a good quest to go down, although Mitch is on the fence about his love for AI. It is what it is, right? Challenges to input data for AI, for artificial intelligence and machine learning pipelines. In many AI ML projects, we need to process and or combine a variety of data sets to make the best use of the available information. In fact, data processing is a major time-consuming step in practice. Sometimes it's even referred to as a step that's more art than science. In this crucial yet intricate step, the practitioner is actively dealing with many challenges, including the following: extracting the most appropriate features from the data, handling the size of the data, dimensions, analysis and reduction, thinking through potential bias and fairness, and dealing with the dynamics of the data through time, etc. In source code embedding, for example, the practitioner is challenged to extract multi-language features, Java, Golang, Python, etc., and learn how these features relate to each other. There's really no one-size-fits-all embedding model in solving these challenges. So the approach we take should aim to find the most appropriate models to solve these challenges for every problem. And they give a diagram: input source 1, input source data M. We have machine learning algorithm 1, machine learning algorithm 2, embedding model N, embedding model 2, embedding model M, AI pipelines, and then they just do a bunch of stuff together. I don't even know. So in figure 1, in a modern AI pipeline, various data sources and machine learning models are present.
Move on, back to work, chop chop, let's go. Come on, get a move on. You're back to work, back to work, back to work.
That was rude. To optimize AI pipeline, the practitioner should find the most appropriate embedding models for the input data. There's a fundamental technique in data processing that practitioners employ is embedding. It is an encoding process that maps the data into a new format and space that enhances its utility while preserving valuable information. For example, we can map code files, code blocks, and comments into a space represented by numbers. Embedding not only simplifies the handling of complex data, but also prepares it for more efficient and effective downstream analysis and processing. Selecting the most appropriate embedding model will make solving the problem at hand much easier. So, as advantages of encoding with encoder. While embedding can be immensely beneficial in AI applications, it remains a predominantly manual and intricate process. I hate manual stuff, right? In reality, there are way too many models to choose from. You may have a favorite model for your AI ML field. You may find one of the best models ranked on the Hugging Face MTEB leaderboard. Use one of the models made available by OpenAI, or you may fine-tune a pre-trained model on your own. Performing one or two embedding strategies on a single data input might be straightforward, but the challenges multiply when various data sources are integrated, such as building a retrieval augmented generation RAG system, a technique reviewed by Gao et al. 2024. The selection of an embedding process grows increasingly complex given the varied context of the problem, the volume of data, and the diversity of data types involved. All right, and let's see, and it's almost done. Is it almost done? Please be almost be done. Let's see. Yeah, we started looking at pictures. We got pictures, right? So, let's see. So even when there's good reason to choose one of the embedding models over others, the right step to take are 1, produce, 2, compare embedding results using these models in the decision-making process. Simply adopting an embedding model because it is recommended by others without a deep understanding of its fit for the specific project needs can jeopardize critical decisions in a high-stakes AI project, which makes sense. Encoder is designed to make the selection process much easier. In Encoder, we can launch multiple embedding models quickly. In figure 2, we have a screenshot of deployed embedding models. So we have model default, model this, all these models, the names, Hugging Face, all that type of stuff, right? And this is I guess this is the UI of encoder.run. And all right, so then it says we can then use these models to launch embedding pipelines on various repositories. The embedding data are saved in a storage instance that's also managed by the encoder application. So we're talking about scatter plots. How about that one? How about that? Yakar, how do you like this scatter plot? Mitch, does your scatter plot look like this? All right, so let's see. After a pipeline run is complete, we can obtain the embedded data from the storage instance to take a look. In figure 3, we have a plot showing a portion of the embedding results of the encoder code repository. It's open source now, and we'll look at the repo after we get to our next break. This plot is constructed with output from 3D TS and E embedding over the original 768 dimensional data space using the Gina embedding v2 version 2 base code model. Clustering is applied for ease of visualization. We can simultaneously visualize the original content of the file chunk right panel while browsing through the embedded data points left panel. This scanning process can help us quickly understand if similar file chunks are next to each other in the embedding space. In addition, we can also explore how different each type of files are and if we need to apply different embedding models to different file types. Figure 4 shows how we can visually inspect the distribution of the file cluster, which can be helpful in further understanding as well as implementing advanced processing techniques such as an anomaly detection and filtering. All right. So this is it. I don't know. So and then all right, let's finish up. It says with encoder, we find it easy to launch multiple embedding models and collect the necessary data. Downstream, we explore the embedding results to visually inspect similarities and differences between the input data points. Previously, this process was harder to launch and the results too messy to organize. Practitioners usually leverage Jupyter notebooks. I've used Jupyter notebooks before, which can quickly become unwieldy in keeping track of all the models and embedding data produced, not to mention sharing this information within and across stakeholder teams. All right. So, and then so let's talk about how to run it. We will go into the GitHub to take a quick look at that on our next break before we wrap it up. But that's the encoder software that's open source now. Yakar, Mitch, if that made any sense to you, please let me know. But that's that. All right. So let's go and take a look at what's going on now. All right. Let's get back to our last 20 minutes of work today.
It's time to do.
All right. We had it successfully went through, but I don't know if it's going to start up because I might have to shut it down and bring it back up. Let's see. Let me refresh this real quick. So it's still down. Let me see. We extended all right, let me go to the other screen. All right. Let's see. So, okay, so we're gonna look for how can we connect to the cluster. All right. So we says, all right, to log into ECS for your container, you can try these steps using the AI overview. Select the services tab, task. I guess you stop right there, right? Let's see. Oh, that's not the answer. So that didn't work out. Let's go to another. Using ECS exec. Okay, let's see what's ECS exec. Let's see. AWS. So leverage AWS System Manager, specifically SSM Session Manager, to create a secure channel between your device to initiate the exec. Let's see. What in the world? All right, let's not do that one. Let's go to, all right, let's see. Log into Fargate containers the easy way. Let's see if it's really easy, all right? Let's see. Is that the easy way? I don't know. Let's see. In Mars, general availability of ECS exec, a feature that lets us log into running containers, both Fargate and EC2. It's not a Docker exec as such. It uses different mechanisms. All right. So how do we get this? Unfortunately, the official way of using AWS is hard. We have to know the ECS cluster name, the task ID, the container name, yada yada yada. Building the command line typically involves yada yada. Is there an easier way to do it? Let's see. So I decided to create a more convenient tool, ECS Session, now part of AWS SSM Tool Suite. Okay. And there we go down some type of rabbit hole. All right. So let's go down this rabbit hole together. Let's go down this rabbit hole together. Thanks to Heist King. So here's a question for this rabbit hole we're going down.
Are you ready?
Are you ready to go down this rabbit hole? I'm ready. Let's do it. So let me open up a terminal. And let's go like that. Terminal. Let me zoom in a bit. And we're going to do see if that works. All right. So we have that installed. Probably should have did it in a virtual machine. Let's do that. Well, whatever. Let's just go. All right. So ECS session version. All right. So that's there. Let's see. Now, let's see if, and we are also learning something new in the process as well. So that's super, super cool. That, like, and I don't mind these rabbit holes. I don't want to go down those little crazy people rabbit holes, but this is a good rabbit hole to go down because now we're finding out how we can actually log into a container, which is going to be very, very helpful. All right, so let's say we go to let me do this. Let's zoom in. And all right, so let's go and do but how do I connect to? I'm not connected. How do I connect to it? All right, here we go. So we have to let me see something. What if we use a regular CLI? All right. Oh, why did that one list the cluster? I don't have. Let me see. Oh, okay. Let me try this. Terraform. AWS profile Terraform, or maybe it should be done like this. AWS ECS list clusters profile Terraform. You must specify a region. You can also configure region by region US East 1. Oh, okay, cool. So why not? Let's see. Let's go very similar to the. Let's get it to work in the CLI first, right? Let's say we do describe task, or let's say list task. No cluster. Okay. So we have to also do cluster, and we're gonna say this cluster right here. All right, we have these tasks. So we want to do AWS ECS execute command cluster tf ppq dash ECS cluster task is going to be I guess we'll try this one. And we will go here. And then we will say, where do you get the name of the container? Where'd you get the name of the container? Yield the container name in the task. Yields the container name in the task. Where do you see the container name in the task? Oh, did I skip describe task? All right, nah. Got it over them. So, okay. Let's say describe task. Okay, so and task. Oops. Container name or okay. And if we're here, let's go back up one. And we're gonna do ECS. And we're gonna do execute command. Go to the end. And we're gonna say container. And then we're also gonna say command. If I do command, then bash is gonna take me into the, which is not exactly what I want to see. I want to see the logs. So let's see if we can do, what is the command for Docker logs running. Tailstream. It's gonna be follow. So if I say command Docker logs Or all right, hold on. Let's see how to look at logs using AWS ECS execute command. How do you use logs in ECS? Let's see if we can do the bin bash then. Bin bash. What am I looking for? Where was that? Bin bash, or in quotes. -- enter active. Session manager plugin not found. All that for nothing. All right, cool. Let's see. So now we know how to do that. Let's see. So here. But can I do the ECS session? Profile. Terraform? Region. Is that either a container or the list? Oh. You must specify a region. No execute command capable containers found. Well, whatever. This is not going in a very positive direction, Heist King. So it is possible, but it is. All right, fine. So let's go back to this session manager plugin. Install the session manager plugin for CLI. How do we do that? Install plugin via Mac OS. We need to all right, let's do that. Let's go here. Go ahead and do that. Then we have to unzip. Got that. And then we need to do that. All right. Install successful. Might as well do this. Whatever. All right, cool. So let's go back and do that command again then. So let's see. The session manager plugin was installed. Use the AWS CLI to start a session. An error occurred when calling execute command operation because the command was not enabled when the task was run, or the execute command agent isn't running. Wait and try again, or run a new task with the execute command enabled and try again. Well, so much for that. All right, you know what? I will try this part again next week. Because I don't, this is a mess today. This is an absolute mess. Something that should work so super easily, and it is not starting up for us. Yeah. So let's see where we're at. So let's see. I just so let's take a look at it over here again. So we are inside of the service. We have two that are running. The target is still unhealthy, although they're running. Um, and I can't see inside the container yet. We go to the task, we will see that we have two running, and they've always been running. We have this container running, which you can't see inside the stupid container. Is there any other way to see it? Any other way? The best way to check your container log is by flagging the checkbox when to send them to CloudWatch. This can be done at the container level configuration and task definition. So now let's go and look for task definition. Maybe we should have enabled CloudWatch. Let's see. All right, so it's not in here. Terraform, enable CloudWatch, ECS task. Let's see. Container definition. Let's see over here. ECS plan.
Lunch break! Lunch break!
Not playing nicely. So we have this running here. We need to get, all right, so I'm gonna see if how I can add those logs so that we can actually see what's going on in the container. But the container seems to be running and the tasks are running, but deployments running, one desired, registered one target on the target group, refresh, but it registered it as unhealthy. Let me see. Mhm. I don't know. Let's see what we got going on over here. What happens if I go to this IP? I just want to know if this is up and running. Where is... Let's go over here. And let's go into here. Tasks. Public IP. Is the IP really public? Let's see. Nope. We go to our EC2 instances. Let's see where this one is from. That's the Elastic Beanstalk one. Elastic IPs. Well, we have your car in the building, as always, showing so much love. If you got a membership from your car, please do me a big favor. Clap it up for your car. And make sure you thank your car in the chat. So, here's the deal. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to just tear it down, bring it back up, but I'm going to do that off stream because it's time. Time is up. And we've wasted enough time. I'm going to try to figure out how to enable that CloudWatch thing so that we can get those logs flowing in there. Because maybe we'll do that next week, get the logs flowing in there, because it's annoying because everything starts up, but something with the target group is unhealthy, all this nonsense. It shows that it's running. Who knows? We saw it working before, not right now. Whatever. That's what we do. We are in tech. We troubleshoot, we go down rabbit holes, and hopefully we can also get that session thing working. So we can actually connect to the ECS task to see what's going on as Heist King suggested. But overall, it was good. It was good, right? So I'm gonna tear this down. I'm gonna bring it back up and see what happens. But and yes, cool. All right, so as we wrap it up for today, let me go and let's maybe I'll read that encoder, or we'll go through that encoder GitHub next week. But let's go ahead and merge this branch, right? And then we will check if there's anything in the chat. But shout out to your car as always, right? So let's do this before we wrap up. Let's go over here. We have our all right. So we have it approved, and we're gonna go and we're gonna say so there's no pending conflicts, whatever. We're going to squash and merge. It's gonna merge it into the develop branch. Get rid of that branch. And we're gonna go over into apps. So now we have only 2 pull requests left. We have into our develop branch. I have 2 of these running. But once these checks pass inside of our develop branch, it's running 2 because one on the push and one on the pull request. So that's going to pass. Once that passes, we can go into our board, and we can also mark our last story as complete. And our sprint is done. All the stories taken care of by the tech barbarians. And these were not easy stories as well, because we had to do updating a quote in the database using the API. So we had to implement the put and the patch. We had to implement basic auth, and we had to create Swagger documentation, which we started that on the last live stream. And we have Trap and Slay in the building. You are never late. You are always on time. Not always there when we start streaming, but you are always on time. All right, so we are going to wrap it up, though. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for stopping by, Trap and Slay. Thank you so much, Yakar, for your help and your insight. As always, Ferris, shout out to you. And Heist King for the amazing suggestion about, because I didn't know you could do that. And now we have the AWS SSM Manager installed. We have the other thing installed that we're going to try to figure out how to use it. All that type of stuff. So for Heist King,
I appreciate
you are awesome. Awesome. Mitch, who is working on this. Hey, Yakari, did we lose Mitch? Did the scatter plots get to Mitch? Was Mitch overcome by the scatter plots? We tried to warn him. We tried to warn Mitch, but he went down the dark rabbit hole of the scatter plot. And now, will we ever see Mitch again? Find out on our next live stream if Mitch is going to show up. Was the scatter plots the kryptonite to Mitch? That's what we need to know. Oh, wait. Mitch says no. He did not get overtaken by the scatter plots. He is still here. Whew. That was a close call. But we're here. Anyways, we're gonna wrap it up for today. So Mitch says, I'm acting like you over here about to break the monitor. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up. I gotta get ready for our Scrum night tonight with the Tech Barbarians as we wrap up our latest sprint. And I'm also gonna be working on. I have to create some more videos for this week, as well as a video for the Patreon members. So going to figure all that out. Ferris. Are you going live tomorrow? You going live tomorrow night? It is Memorial Day, and that's why I have my freedom hat on, because I love Memorial Day. And shout out to all those who sacrificed their lives for us to be able to live in this free country, or somewhat free. But anyways, I digress. So I'm going to and I'll check. There is no jiu-jitsu tomorrow night, so I'll be able to tune in for the entire stream fair. So I will be there. Right. So that being said, I have a question for you. Did you have fun watching me fumble and bumble and try to navigate this crazy troubleshooting session that we unfortunately failed? So the question, are you...
Spartans!
Oh, wrong one. This is the one that I wanted.
Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Are you not entertained by my fumbling and bumbling across AWS and Stack Overflow and Terraform and all this type of stuff, which is driving me crazy? So, that being said, you guys know. Oh, so Bear says he doesn't celebrate holidays unless they are religious, to be honest. So I'll be on most of the time. Well, hey, I celebrate holidays, but I still, there are no days off. So regardless of the reason, I don't have any days off regardless. So whether it's a holiday, a religious holiday, a country holiday, whatever the case is, we get to work. We will be here. So First says he's learning a lot. He will try to implement some of these. I look forward to it because that way we learn from each other. And that's the goal. That's the goal, to help each other, build each other up. Well, so with that being said, you guys know yesterday's price is not today's price. Today's price is certainly not tomorrow's price, because
one more thing. Price of the brick going up.
the price of the brick is always going up due to inflation. That's a fact. All right. So tomorrow we have Candid Conversations, my top 5 strategies to get into tech. I will be going live tomorrow morning as well as we continue working through our mobile app. We're going to be getting that privacy policy page up so that we can push the application through the process into the app stores, all that good stuff, right? That being said, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Yakar, thank you. Trap, thank you. Ferris, thank you. Mitch, thank you. All of you guys. You guys are absolutely amazing.
I appreciate you.
And on that note, the Tech Coach Ralph is out.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts. Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again. Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Spartans! What is your profession?